All right, Rick, I see you still have not been able to get your camera working, but I think we're okay with that. Does anybody have any objection to Rick not being able to? Okay, I didn't think so. So, Rick, are you with us? Can you hear us?
I, I am.
Okay. So again, we want to thank you for coming for the public. This is our interviews for the positions on Mason Transit Authority. This is January 16th. With that, we're going to go ahead and start off with Rick Stevens as our first candidate we're going to interview. So, Rick, we're going to ask you a series of simple questions, and I want you to understand there is no right answer, there is no wrong answer. We ask you to be brief when possible, but if you need to expand on what you're saying, feel free to do so. With that being said, I will go ahead and start off with the first question. Sharon, if you don't mind doing the second, and Kevin the third, and we'll go in series after that. So with that being said, what do you see as the function of the Mason Transit Authority Board?
Hang on one second, Kevin. I'm actually going to try to switch computers here so I can actually see this and you can see me. Can you give me just a second?
Yes. No objection, right, commissioners? Yeah, we're good.
Okay. There we go. There you go.
There we go.
So, I'm doing this under my wife's name.
Can you turn your other one off, please?
Yes, working on that. I have a supercomputer. Okay.
There we go. So,
Well, now I'm Dawn.
okay. So, do you prefer to be called Richard or Rick, or what's your preference?
Rick.
Rick, again, I don't know if you heard me, but we have a brief set of questions for you. There is no right answer or wrong answer. We ask that you please keep it brief, but if you feel like you have a need to expand on it, please feel free to do so. And in the end, you'll be given an opportunity to ask any questions that you may have of us. So with that being said, my first question, again, I'll ask first one. Commissioner Trask will ask the second, and Commissioner Schutte will ask the third, and we'll go in series. What do you see as the function of the Mason Transit Authority Board?
Actually, it's all new to me. And I hadn't even given it a thought. I know that those things, this functions and I've watched it grow over the years. My mother used to use it when I first started, and I really liked it. But as far as the function of the board, I don't know. It's new to me. I was invited to do this, and I newly commissioner at Mason County 13, Fire District 13, and decided to do that as I get older, and just kind of been doing public service for a long time, just as a volunteer, but just as just a new way to do it, a little bit less less active on my body. So as far as the transit board, I don't know the full function.
All right, thank you. Rick, shall I address you as Don?
That's right. This is Dawn's computer.
That works. That works. Why do you want to sit on the Mason Transit Board?
It's simple. It's similar to our fire district. I'd been a member here for since I was a teenager, and it's just, I feel, kind of a civic thing. But I think the transit's really important, and would certainly like to know more, but like to know more about how it grows and expands, and how we make those decisions on that growth. So
Great, thank you.
Please describe your familiarity and understanding of the mission of Mason Transit Authority.
yeah, kind of the same thing. I only looked at it briefly, and have really minimal knowledge on it, honestly. But I think that, like I said, the overall importance of it, right, is just some community involvement. And because I'm active in this part of the community, that would be my only interest.
So, what is your opinion of public transportation?
I really like it, and I'm glad that we actually have it in Mason County. Again, uh, when it first started, and I don't know the year, but my mother used to use it, and when it first started in Mason County, yeah, I kind of thought, wow, it's something's actually happening here. I spend a fair amount of time in Seattle as well, and I use the transit up there, but it's nice to see it here, and would certainly like to see more activity. And I hope that as it grows, and again, I don't know the full activity of it. I don't know the full ridership, but I'm really glad that it's here.
Great. So this board meets in the early afternoon now, at least once a month. Will that be a problem?
No.
Great.
Do you have any conflicts of interest that may arise by serving on this board?
No, no, just a general contractor. I've been building houses for the last 30 years here in Mason County and the Northwest in general. And I'll be 62 this year and thinking about retirement coming down the road. And so I'm currently at a point where I'm choosing my own projects and literally building one house at a time. So I've created my own kind of free time and just downsize. And so it just allows more time for me to do some of the things that I'd actually like to do. Again, civic minded, but also stay involved in our community.
So this is your opportunity. Do you have any questions for us?
Mainly, so I understand you're meeting once a month, but outside of that, what else is there? I mean, other than those meetings, how's all
Quite
this
often,
go?
quite often we ask you to serve on one of our committees, such as finance or facilities or something along the likes of that, to have some more input and maybe take in some more information. Other than that, there's a few events that may come up that you're not required to attend, but it's always nice if you could attend it, and the staff definitely appreciate it when we give them some time and some thank yous.
Okay.
Commissioners, am I missing anything?
Nope, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess my question would be, as far as being able to use my skills as well. Not that I need to go build anything for you, but I would certainly appreciate the opportunity to have some input on build out, on if you're adding a route, if you need to, if it's a construction related or just growth questions about that. I would like to have some input on that, I guess.
And we all try to have input on that when the time comes, but also facilities would be a good committee to be on for any type of expansions or what that looks like.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I want to thank you for coming and giving us the opportunity to talk to you and get to know you. We will be discussing more later. Everybody should know things within the next week or two, what we've decided and where we're going with it. We'll give everybody heads up. But
Okay.
again, thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so next up, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next panelist. I have Patrick O'Brien. Hi, Pat. So just so you know, we're going to go through a process. We have a series of questions, 7 questions. You'll be given an opportunity to speak on them. As you probably heard, they're very simple questions. It's just a good opportunity for us to get to know you and to see if there's any issues that may come up. There is no right answer or wrong answer. We ask that you keep it brief if possible for everybody else, but if you feel you need to expand on something, again, feel free to. And in the end, we'll give you the opportunity to ask questions of us. We'll start off with me with the first question, Commissioner Trask with the second, Kevin with the third, and then we'll go in series. So with that, Pat, what do you see is the function of the MTA board?
I think any board, um, I'm just like the last guy. I'm a fire commissioner for 17. I just ran for reelection, and so I've been a commissioner for 7 years. I was on the board of the YMCA in Auburn, Washington for 25 years. I was the longest standing board member they ever had. I'm the vice chair of the Shelton Youth Connection right now, or the Youth Connection. We've taken Shelton out of the name. I think a board member is to give their input to look at maybe some new practices. I'm the board chair now with 17, and I'm thinking about, or we're talking about expanding our board. If we expand our board, I want to make sure I get a woman on the board too, so we can get their input on what needs to be going. I think a board provides a lot of alternatives, and then or options to discuss. And then background, I was in trucking for 40 years. I understand rubber tires and motors and transmissions. I've got that stuff down. So basically, that's what, and I envision the board driving, or not driving, but directing the Mason County transport or transit.
All right. So do you go by Patrick or Pat?
Pat.
All right, Pat. Why do you want to sit on the Mason Transit Board?
Well, I'm retired. I got on the board of the fire district 7 years ago. Like I said, I got on the board of the Youth Connection 4 years ago, I believe. Like I said, I was on the board of the YMCA for 25 years, and we were a very active board. I worked for a very large trucking company. They allowed me as a manager of the Northwest to involve myself in community activities. And so my wife and I always have. My wife just went back to school and got her EMT license so she can be an EMT in our fire department. She's 68 years old. And so her and I have been married a long time. Our focus has always been to help the community. I think transit is going to become more and more important as whatever we figure out with whatever's going on with global warming or what's creating it. But anytime we can put less vehicles on the road, and that, I think that makes it safer. And the only way you can do that is by having an option for the people that works effective.
Thank you.
Pat, can you please describe your familiarity and understanding of the mission of Mason Transit Authority?
Well, I'm not certain I understand the question again.
Yeah, no problem. Just to describe your familiarity or your understanding of the mission of Mason Transit.
To be perfectly honest, I've never read it, but I would imagine the mission would be like anything else, to get people from point A to point B as easily and without any incidents that would create any bad issues with anybody. The mission should be to take care of the customers and try and provide routes that work for people's schedules and work for people's time that they need to be at work and that. But again, that's what I would envision the mission being.
So Pat, what is your opinion of public transportation?
Well, I've used it a lot. Right now we're in California. We come to California. That's the other thing I want to discuss too, and I can do that at the end. But my wife and I are in California right now. We're in Pismo Beach, and we're going to meet our kids in February down in Disneyland. So we're going to take a train. I mean, to drive in Los Angeles and stuff, I got a crew cab, long box pickup. Trying to park it or do anything is nuts. And so we're going to take the train. I believe public transit is good for the community. It's good for everybody. We just have to. I mean, it's public transit's been trying to be pushed for years and years and years, and I think we need to provide better options for people and stuff so people actually use it more. And how could it be flexible enough to handle people's changing schedules? I mean, there's a lot of questions that I think could be asked, but at the same time, I mean, public transport is, I believe in it. I think it's necessary, and I think we need to do what we can to make it better for everybody.
All right, great, thank you. So this board meets in the early afternoon at least once a month. Will that be a problem?
Shouldn't be. Now, well, can I expand on that just a hair?
Sure.
Well, my wife and I go to California every January and February, and we're normally back by the 10th of March or so. And we plan on continuing to do that. And I asked the question when I called in to fill out the application and stuff, whether that would be a problem. I'm a fire commissioner. I Zoom those meetings. I'm vice chair of the board for the Youth Connection. I Zoom those meetings. As long as you guys are comfortable with that, that works for me too. I'm pretty dedicated, and if I find something, I was encouraged when you and I'm sorry I don't know everybody's name yet, but when you're talking about getting on different committees and stuff, that's what I envision happening. And that's why one of the reasons why I talked about making our fire district 5 commissioners, because currently we're 3. 2 of us cannot meet and talk about anything for the district without violating laws. If we had 5 commissioners, then 2 could meet and not discuss that, but discuss things that we need to do to point the district in the right direction. So, you know, that's kind of what I think. So.
All right, great, thank you. And honestly, that it's a hybrid. Our meetings are hybrids.
Oh, good, good, good. And I would, if when I'm in town, I live in Colony Surf, and I would imagine that's why I got the letter, because you want somebody from up north too that can help with those types of situations that happen up there. That's perfect. If that works, that works. And when I'm in town, I'll always be there. That's just the way I am.
All right, thank you.
Pat, do you have any conflicts of interest that may arise by serving on the board?
I certainly don't think so. And again, I'm a fire commissioner for District 17, and I'm the vice chair of the board for the Youth Connection. I don't believe either of those would conflict in any way, and I don't have anything. I mean, if fishing conflicts, then that might be an issue. But other than that, I'm good.
So Pat, here's the best part of it. Do you have any questions for us that would help you to make the decision that this is for you?
Well, I don't think. I mean, I wish I would have gotten that letter, because I got the letter like a week before we were going to leave to come south, and of course we're running around circles trying to get everything packed and make everything happen. And so, because I would have liked to have come down and visited the Mason Transport, done those types of things, so I could have a feeling of where it's at. But I do believe in community. I've been about community all my life. I mean, I've been served on so many boards. I was on the food bank board in Albert. I mean, I've been on so darn many boards, and I enjoy doing it because I want to give back to the community. We were, not to go into a long story, but we were raised very poor, and I've been very fortunate. I've worked hard and done well, and I just want to give back to the community. And I'm looking for ways to make that happen while I'm up at twiddling my thumbs. I mean, I got my fire stuff and I've got the Youth Connection stuff, and then I try and fish as much as possible. And once in a while I play golf, but other than that, I'm bored. So
Okay. Do you have any other questions for us?
I don't believe I do.
Well, Pat, we want to thank you for coming and speaking with us today. After this is all over, we'll get together and have some conversations. We hope to have some information and some decisions coming up shortly. I guess we could say that you should be probably informed. What do you think, commissioners, within a week?
We have one that is not able to be interviewed today, so I'm not sure when that person will be interviewed. So
What
figure
whatever
a week
works.
to 2 weeks, and we'll get back to everybody and let them know.
And Randy, I met you one time when we had an open house at the Youth Connection, and I was there that evening with the board, and you came in and I came up and introduced myself to you and stuff. So
Yeah, I'm sorry. No,
yeah.
Mark, go ahead.
Commissioners, I think that your last interview is this coming Monday.
Okay. Like I said, we'll be finding out, making some decisions shortly in the next couple of weeks. Again,
That
thank you
works.
so much for Pat, and I do remember meeting you at the Youth Connection. It's nice to see you. Thank you for all you do for the community.
I try.
All right. Bye. Okay,
you.
next up, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Arthur Whitson. I can't say it today. Whitson. Do you prefer to be called Art?
Hold on. Sure, that'd be fine.
Okay, Art, we're going to go through a series of questions. As you heard, some of them are very simplistic. It just gives us an idea of who you are, lets us be able to recognize you and see if there's any issues that may arise. We will ask you these questions. You'll be given an opportunity to answer. There is no proper answer, right or wrong, but we do ask that you keep it brief so that the next ones up could get a chance to speak. We also ask, though, if you actually have a question where you need more information, take the time and ask it. Let's talk about it and find out now rather than later. So with that being said, I'll be asking the first one. Commissioner Trask will ask the next one, and Commissioner Schutte the one after that, and we'll do it in series. So in the very end, you'll be given an opportunity to ask questions of us. With that, what do you see as the function of the Mason Transit Authority Board?
Well, I see the board as an important element of government. Basically, I'll be representing a taxing district, and I'll have constituents that basically I need to find out what their needs are, and basically, well, I wrote a statement for that because I wrote it all out. The purpose of the body is to convey the transportation needs of the voting community within the constraints and regulations and budgets to the transit authority employees that manage the public agency. Also, the board should probably assess if their directives and policies are being carried out by the employees from top to bottom. So kind of a sounding board, basically, and a sounding board with some decision-making authority to run the agency.
All right, thank you, Art. Why do you want to sit on the Mason Transit Board?
Well, I'm a civil engineer, and I'm also a systems engineer. They're really kind of two different animals, but and I spent basically forever in college. So I have a lot of tools and experience. In fact, I'm on the Mason County Water Quality District Advisory Committee. So that's one of my expertise: water, wastewater, environmental, all environmental. I was an environmental manager for Boeing for many, many years. So I have this background, not only in environmental, but all things civil and systems. And systems engineers, what they do is they try to define, if you got a problem, they try to define what the problem is by trying to understand what the system really is. Systems have boundaries. They have inputs, outputs. They have users and also stakeholders. And so I can take, like, for instance, I haven't done a lot with transportation in my background. I have certainly used transportation a lot. I lived on Bainbridge Island for almost 40 years, took the ferry every day. When I wasn't riding my bicycle, I was taking Kitsap Transit and Metro Transit to and from work. I put more miles on the bus, the ferry, and my bicycle than I did in my car. I'm kind of a true environmentalist, but I'm not an environmental fanatic. I like to protect the environment. I use mass transit for economic reasons, fitness reasons, and it's just kind of a safe way to go. I don't know if that's the case anymore, but anyhow, so I want to assist the Transportation Authority in just being more effective and more efficient. Systems engineers, they identify systems. They look at routes. I used to use tools for simulation to determine if a particular process was, efficient, effective. And it gave me an opportunity to try different things out. When you use these tools, you've got millions of different elements that you can try out. You can use that in transportation. The other thing that systems engineers do, they're really an expert in reliability and reliability engineering. And how did an environmental engineer become a reliability engineer? Well, what I found out in industry is that a lot of environmental management issues basically waste streams. Well, we have oil spills, all sorts of unusual things that happen. You learn that it's the consequence of bad maintenance. That's what happens in industry. In transportation systems, trucks, equipment, that type of thing. If you're not maintaining it, then you're probably basically shortening the life cycle of that equipment and creating problems down the road, unexpected things like failures that will, brakes for like a vehicle.
I agree with you. It definitely has an impact. Who has the next question?
Yeah, I think our next question is describe your familiarity and understanding of the mission of Mason Transit.
Well, Mason Transit is basically a system to transport people around the county effectively and efficiently. And if I was in need of going from Mason Lake to Shelton, for instance, to do a job, first thing I would try to find out is how do I get on a bus to get there? I see transportation systems as a very important element of a community. But in order to run them smoothly and effectively and efficiently, you got to be constantly looking at routes, effectiveness of routes. Are you picking up the right people at the right time? And that type of thing. But it's an important element to move people, especially folks that don't have the means to have their own vehicles and that type of thing. The way I would use it is because I'm a bicycler, okay, and I don't particularly like riding between Shelton and Mason Lake at night like I used to in Seattle. Just because people are driving fast and dark corners and all that kind of stuff. Even though I'm lit up, I would use the bus. I put my bicycle on the bus, transport to a place where I can easily get off and drive safely. So it's a transportation means for everybody.
I agree. So Art, what is your opinion? I think you just answered, though. What is your opinion of public transportation?
Well, I think it's an important element, definitely. And it certainly could be made very effective and efficient. I think here in the state of Washington, in rural environments, trains are probably not the best option because the routes aren't really in place, but wheeled vehicles are. And I think that the type of system we have here in Mason County is excellent for, considering it's a rural environment and thinking about wheeled vehicles, you don't have to have a track to get there. You just you just have to have a road.
Yeah. Thank you, Art.
Yeah.
Sharon?
All right, so Art, this board meets early in the afternoon, at least once a month. Will that be a problem?
No, not at all. So I'm a Port of Grapeview commissioner. We meet early evening, so it's perfect. I just go from one to the other. And another reason I want to do this, and I forgot to explain that. This is my way of giving back, but also just learning who's who in the zoo in the community. And being a commissioner has been so much fun because I've met, a fairly recent person. I just moved from Bainbridge here about 3 years ago. And so I decided that it'd be a good idea to be something in the community so I could just meet people and really try to understand what's going on. Now, when I get appointed to this position, what I like to do is I like to go out and I'll go on all the routes and I'll meet all the bus drivers and talk to customers and stuff. I'm not going to let them on a board meeting because that might change their answer, but just to find out what they think about the whole thing. And as time goes on, I'd love to go in and talk to the maintenance guys, how they're doing their job. Do they need any help? I have a wealth of information of all the tools that we used in industry to determine how what the health of the system is, or the health of the asset, so to speak, from airplanes all the way down to fixed-based compressors. And there's a wealth of information I have. If they're using fairly modern buses, a lot of that stuff is integrated into their into the bus system as well. So the mechanics, all they have to do is look at the latest squawks and determine what he can and what he can't do based on what the tools and in time frame goes. So
I definitely agree. Commissioner Schutte?
Yeah, do you have any conflicts of interest that may arise by serving on this board?
no, not at all. I mean, not that I'm aware of.
Good. This is the big question. Do you have a question for us to help us to help you decide whether or not this is something you want to do?
Well, I love the opportunity to serve my community and share with the community with what I know and that type of thing. And I don't, probably the only conflict I would have would be on the water side, things that I'm engaged in. I can't think there would be a community. And one of the things that I really like about being a part of the Mason County Water District Advisory Committee is, I've gotten to meet the health department community, and we've had numerous blue-green algae, potentially blue-green algae toxic blooms on Mason Lake. And so I know who to call. Ian. I got Ian on my quick dial and say, hey, we got this going on. And he's doing a beautiful job. He's a great administrator. He's really constrained. He doesn't have the budget for a lot of this stuff that he needs to, and he's just trucking along, getting things done and getting things cleaned up. So anyhow,
we absolutely have some great staff. We're very proud of them.
Yeah.
So Art, I want to thank you so much for coming and speaking to us. Something that most people don't know. I was a port commissioner for 6 years, and part of the purview for port is economic development and the movement of goods and people. So it's an interesting little note. With that, Art, I want to thank you for coming in and speaking with us. We should be able to contact you within the next couple of weeks, and everybody else to let them know the outcome of the interviews and where we've decided to go. So with that, again, thank you very much for being here today, and look forward to seeing you out at some of the events.
You bet, Randy. Thank you so much, and thank you all of you for participating. Yeah, even if you don't select me, I mean, I'm a busy guy. I mean, I play in 3 symphony orchestras, and I'm playing all sorts of rock bands.
I read that, yeah.
Yeah, and
I wish I had even that much talent, but I don't.
Well, I tell you, Randy, I thought I was the cock of the walk in a lot of cases, and you get demoralized a lot when some guy shows up with a better trick or a better hat trick. But anyhow, but I'm offering my service to the community. And if you guys need any help with something, I don't need to be on the board member. I'll come on down and help you with whatever issues they have. One of the things I'm really good at is what they call root cause analysis. I was on many accidents at Boeing, and some of those accidents took a long time to figure out and mitigate. And it's not always the obvious thing you think it might be. It's you have to go through the process to figure it out. So if you got issues like why certain types of buses are failing or having issues, I could probably come in and help with that process.
And we definitely appreciate it. And Art, make sure you get my cell phone number. If you guys at the port need anything from me, you just make sure you call. I'm more than happy to help you however I can.
Well, you got more money?
Actually, we just gave you some, but we'll have a conversation. Give me a call and we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Thank you, Art.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. With that, I do not see Ryan on the line, but I do see Richard Lee. Commissioners, do you mind if we go ahead and just jump over to Mr. Lee?
Yeah, I think Ryan's on Monday.
Yeah, and then I believe that Lauren is the next on the list of people.
On my list, I have 1040 Richard Lee.
And I have 10:30 Lauren.
And then I have Lauren Gilmore at 11. That's on this list, but I got two lists. I have the one you gave me, and I have another one here. So let's see what we have. Okay, I have Lauren at 10:30. New list. Thank you, Commissioner. Actually, though, Commissioner, I was going off the one you gave me. So
That was probably wrong. I would go
Yeah.
off the one that Mackenzie.
Mackenzie dropped this other one off. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and go right on into Lauren Gilmore. Lauren, welcome. One of the things we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and go through a list of questions. And I want to remind you, there is no right answer. There is no wrong answer. These are very simple questions. And if you can keep it brief, it is definitely appreciated. Because as you can see, there's other ones waiting to be interviewed. But at the same time, if you feel something needs to be expanded on, please, we ask you to go ahead and take the time to do that. I'll be asking the first question, Commissioner Trask the second, and Commissioner Schutte the third. And in the end, you will be given an opportunity to ask questions of us that would help you to make up your mind if this is something that you want to do. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and kick off with the first one. And we have, by the way, your breakdown of who you are and everything in front of us. So with that, what do you see as the function of the Mason Transit Authority Board?
Great. Thank you for having me here today. I see the function of the Mason Transit Authority Board as, getting people where they need to be and making sure everything is functioning smoothly. Step back and not be so rushed. I was reading through the RCWs that govern the Mason Transit Authority because that's really where my expertise lies. It's what I do as a living at the Department of Licensing. I work with professional licensing boards, and my whole career is really based around policy. So I started at the RCWs, and the definition they had in there was really to make sure that the board is implementing a high capacity system of transportation and developing revenues. So when I started looking through our minutes and really looking at that, the board has a huge funding and fiscal responsibility, but in there's all these seemingly small things that really matter, such as, creating a new stop at a shelter, or looking at how many people are riding and currently riding the board, and listening to complaints from the public and making sure that those issues are resolved. So the board has a lot of responsibility, I guess, is my large answer. That's
wonderful.
what I've got. Sorry, trying to
No, that's a good answer.
I can talk.
Like I said,
I'm good at talking.
There is no right or wrong answer. That was a good answer. Commissioner Trask?
All right, Lauren, thank you for coming and for applying. Why do you want to sit on the Mason Transit Board?
I received a letter saying that these opportunities were available. I'm currently one of the school board directors, and I had never really thought about any of the other boards in the area. And when I looked it up, I think that school board and the Mason Transit Authority really coexist in a great way, because the school cannot function without this larger bus system. It's getting students to schools, it's getting families to work. It's important that these two systems work cohesively to make sure that everyone is getting where they need to be on time and has access to commodities, to education, to visiting family. I'm so sorry. I think I lost the question.
Nope.
Okay.
You answered it. Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner Schutte?
Lauren, please describe your familiarity and understanding of the mission of Mason Transit.
In looking at the mission of Mason Transit, it is, really the things I've kind of discussed already, giving that oversight to the transit authority in the area, making sure that it's running effectively, and really making sure that the money is there in the upcoming years so that the buses can be where they need to be. It's important to have a passion for transit in the area and really understand how it impacts people's lives, and really building that into making sure that the decisions that are being made at the board are taking everybody into account, and they are helping advance the community forward. And, how can you expand, what policies need to be, and how to get larger support.
I think you already answered this question, but there's another opportunity. What is your opinion of public transportation?
I love public transportation. In fact, we really like to travel at our house, and when we go places, we try to use public transportation as much as we can. I think it's a great way to learn about a community and get to the different places you need to go and experience that. And also, it's essential. People need the bus system to get to work here. They need it to get to Olympia. Students need it to get to school. As I've said, that's, my core passion area there. But Transit Authority does a lot. You're working with unhoused, you're working with families, you're working with, somebody who's tired of riding their bike and needs to hop on the bus. It touches everybody in some way.
I agree with you. Commissioner?
Right, so the board meets in the early afternoon, at least once a month. Will that be a problem?
No, I know, and I got my stuff in a little bit late, but that was because the time had moved. I had a recurring work meeting at the first time, and this new time I was excited and wanted to go for this opportunity.
All right, thank you.
Lauren, do you have any conflicts of interest that may arise by serving on this board?
I don't believe so. I'm just sitting on the school board right now, and I don't see those as conflicting.
Excellent. Now, do you have any questions for us, Lauren?
Not right now. And you're in this busy things. So I think I've gotten a lot of good information online, just searching general transit authorities and reading through the policy guidelines in the board packet. So thank you for having all that visibility online.
Yeah, I can definitely see you did your homework. We want to thank you for coming in and meeting with us, Lauren. We very much appreciate it. As you know, we take this very seriously, and we think it's very important. We will be interviewing everybody, and we should get back to you within 2 weeks to let you know our decisions on where we're going and how we're doing it. Thank you so much for being here today. We very much appreciate you.
Thank you. And thank you for the privilege of this opportunity. I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Okay, so next up, Richard Lee. Richard, you've been on here for a while here, so you've heard this spiel, but I'll say it anyway. We're going to go through a series of questions. There is no right answer. There is no wrong answer. Please be brief if you can, but if you need to expand on anything, we are more than happy to let you do that and look forward to it. In the end, you'll be given the opportunity to ask questions of us. I'll be asking the first one, Commissioner Trask the second, and Commissioner Schutte the third, and we'll do it in that order. So with that being said, what do you see as the function of the Mason Transit Authority Board?
Okay, let me check this, make sure you can hear me first.
Yes.
Yeah, got me. Okay. Okay, function of the Mason County Transit Authority. Being a board director, a school board director, having served on many boards, such as Franklin County Emergency Management Board of Directors, a founding member of the Franklin County Mosquito Control Board, power commissions, PD commissions, different boards. Generally they're the same. We secure funding, we approve budgets, we direct our management staff into performing their job duties in an efficient manner. We're responsible to the public. We are a liaison for the public to come to voice their opinions, their concerns. Every once in a while, they give us an opinion that's a positive one too. So we get to forward that to our management staff and let our management know when they're doing a great job too.
All right, great. So why do you want to sit on the Mason Transit Board?
Well, I'm retired. I'll say I'm retired. My wife runs a daycare. Um, and it's an in-home daycare. We do it right here. We're the only certified preschool daycare in our school district. So we're busy. We're always full. Um, and so yeah, I'm retired from my government job, but retired just meant tired because I'm chasing kids all day. But I'm at a point where I want to reach out a little bit more. You know, I do the, like I said, do the school board. I'm a deacon at our church, and I think I've got more to offer the community. I've got a fairly extensive work history in management positions and on boards. I think I can share that experience with the rest of the board. I I thought that the Mason that was I was interested when I saw Mason County Transit Authority. I'll be honest, I've never rode on the bus. Um, but well, I've never rode on the public transit. I have done some rides on the school bus as a board member. Um, that's an experience. So I would see myself taking a few rides on the bus because I think you have to understand the complexities of the bus drivers, of the people that are using the public transit. I think that'd be a great opportunity to get your hands on. So that's kind of why I responded to the letter. I had just gone on vacation. We had just left for Florida the day I got the letter. And so I was late getting it back into. I think I made it by the deadline, but it was 4:30 on Tuesday.
We seem to have done that to everybody this time, commissioners.
So
Yeah, please describe your familiarity and understanding of the mission of Mason Transit.
I believe that as a transit authority, our mission is to help people find their best. As far as the management goes, you know, like I said, we are the liaison between the nuts and the bolts of what happens on a daily basis and the overall management of the district. And I think that the board needs to come in with a mission of reliability, fiscal competence, and overall performing, wanting our employees to perform their job in a safe work environment and with great morale.
So what is your personal opinion of public transportation?
Oh, I have been very particularly of Mason Public Transit, very happy with the service that they can provide. We've had people come out to our house that ride public transit. The dial-a-ride aspect of, you know, they get their calls in. They seem to it seems to be very available for people. You know, we promote public transit as a school board for our truancy program, you know, that as a help to get people to school, to get people where they need to be. So I think our public transit system is a great thing. And I'd like to see it continue and grow.
All right, great. So the board meets in the early afternoon at least once a month. Will that be a problem?
So I have school board meetings on the second and the fourth Tuesday in the evenings.
Okay.
So I don't know which day and which week you're.
Well, we're meeting at 1 o'clock now.
Oh, they're during the day, so yeah, that's not an issue.
Great, thank you.
And excuse me, do you have any conflicts of interest that may arise by serving on this board?
I don't believe so. I do know that I have a board member, another board member on the school board, who is married to the manager at the public transit, but we've used that as a school board to our benefit. You know, we've had some transportation issues with some buses that were down. And the transit really came through for us in providing transportation for students that were out on Harstein Island during a time that we were down a driver. So, but other than you know, having that contact on the board, I don't see it as a conflict for me.
So Richard, this is your opportunity. Do you have any questions for us that would help you to decide if you did or did not want to do this?
How did this position become available? Was this a filled position that was vacated, or
Yes.
was it?
We had
Okay.
two positions that had become open, and with that, we had restructured our organization. Was it a couple years back? And with that, a few of them have turned out with basically run for office, chose not to run for office again, and so they were no longer eligible to be on the board because they have to be an elected official to be there.
Okay. So,
One of the positions, the guy's been there longer than I have. I think he was there for 14, 15 years, maybe longer.
oh, wow. See, I was gone out of the area for quite a period of time working in Eastern Washington.
Mhm.
And so when I came back, public transit was a thing.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't realize that there had been people around that long.
Yep.
So, you know, it's very well established then. It's
Yes.
got its roots in the ground and it's not going anywhere. So
Even won a few awards. Any other questions that could help you?
no, you answered the question about the meetings. That was an issue that I thought I might run into, but yeah, since it's 1 o'clock,
Well, this will be our first 1 o'clock meeting, so you were right to worry about that question up until today.
okay.
All right.
Great.
Well, with that, Richard, we want to thank you for coming and interviewing with us, and thank you for your interest in the position. We very much appreciate it. As you know, we consider this very important to our community as well. With that, we'll be doing some further discussions. We'll have a little bit more interviews coming up, and you should hear from us within the next couple of weeks.
Very well. Very well. Thank you for you guys' time.
Thank you for joining us, Richard. Okay, so next up, I'm going to go ahead, if I'm on the right list this time, Julie Tucson. Is that what you got, Commissioner Trask? Yes? Okay. Julie, I'd like to welcome you. I'll welcome you again. Hi, Julie. There we go. Welcome, Julie.
Hi there. Sorry, I didn't want to, I thought I was intruding, so, oh, here, did I turn on my, I muted during
Nope, there you are.
the previous conversation. I didn't know what I was,
Nope, you're fine.
what the right protocol was.
Nothing top secret here. Nice to see you guys the other day. As a matter of fact, you actually attended the community voice meeting on transit, didn't you?
I was there, and
Yeah.
was that not fate?
I just realized that. Well, Julie, again, we want to welcome you. As you probably didn't hear because you had it muted, we have a series of questions, 7 questions. I'll ask the first one, Commissioner Trask the second, and Commissioner Schutte the third. We'll go in a cycle. In the end, you'll be given an opportunity to ask us questions if you have any questions.
Okay.
Now, there is no right answer. There is no wrong answer. Brief is always appreciated, but if you feel like you need to expand on something, feel free to. Even yes and no answers work around here. We appreciate them.
Okay.
With that going in, I'm going to go ahead and start with the first one. Again, thank you for being here. What do you see as the function of the MTA board?
The MTA board, it's not to operate the Mason Transit, it's to provide input and help with major decisions. an overseer, make sure everything's operating correctly.
All right, great. Why do you want to sit on the Mason Transit Board?
Well, when I got the letter, I wasn't sure about it. But then, well, I also had the flu and it was the holidays. So, but then I thought about it, and the mission, what the Mason Transit does is amazing, connecting, people with appointments, jobs, and, things going around in the community. So, and then I thought, well, it's a great cause that I can get behind. I like it. And if people don't step up to participate, then where are we going to be in the world? So I decided this might be a good fit for me.
Great.
Julie, please describe your familiarity and understanding with the mission of the MTA.
Well, I can tell you, I know a lot more about it since I went to North Mason County Voice on Thursday night, and Dan is a great spokesperson for. It was Dan, right? Yeah, Dan's a great face, and so now I know a lot more about it. But my understanding is that Mason Transit connects people with their jobs, appointments, the community, and it increases the vitality of our area. So win-win.
Yeah, that was a great class he gave to the community up there. What's your personal opinion of public transportation?
I haven't used it a lot. I did use it once when I had to get my car fixed in Olympia, and instead of Mark was going to run over in his F350 truck, and I said, I'm just going to jump on the bus and you can pick me up downtown. So that's what we did. My view is that, there are a lot of people that wouldn't have the quality of life that they have without it. So.
Right, great. So the board meets early in the early afternoon, at least once a month. Do you have a problem with that?
Generally, no.
Usually a Wednesday, a Tuesday at 1.
Oh, Tuesday at 1. Oh, okay. But I thought the thing said at 4. But no, I can work. My plan is previously, before I knew that they were at 1, was to work remotely on those Tuesdays. And how long do they normally last?
Oh, I would say 2 to 3 hours.
Okay. Yep, that shouldn't be a problem.
Just depending on the agenda.
Right. Yeah. Totally understand that. Yeah.
Julie, do you have any conflicts of interest that may arise by serving on this board?
I don't think so. I'm a PUD commissioner, but I don't think that would be a conflict at all. I can't think of anything that would be a conflict.
Do you have any questions for us that would help either chase you away or make you decide what you really want to do?
Well, in order to determine if I am the best fit, I was kind of wondering, is there something it looks like there's 2 spots available. So is there something that the board is looking for in skills or knowledge or any of that anything that's missing on the board currently?
I can just speak for myself. Each one's going to have a different answer for that because there is nothing set that we're looking to do. I love competence. I just love competence and people that are willing to jump in and learn the system and understand the system. As you saw at that meeting, there's a lot of different parts to it. And each board member is given the opportunity to serve on an internal committee, such as finance or it could be facilities, policy. There's different opportunities that arise there. But personally, I don't think it's one specific piece that we're looking for. Commissioner Trask or Shooty?
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's just somebody that's interested, that'll fully participate. Like I'm on the finance committee at this point in time, and so budget times, things like that you'll meet a little extra, but it's personal skills, personality. I think that's what I would be looking for.
Okay. And Commissioner Shooty, did you have anything?
No, that all sounds pretty good to
I
me.
didn't want to leave you out.
Oh, I appreciate it.
So that was my other question. So there are several different committees, which makes sense.
Yeah.
So do you, well, I guess that answers my last question, was how you collaborate outside of board meetings, but it would be in those smaller committee meetings. So, okay.
But you're also welcome to meet with us, talk to us individually. We have a citizen on there, and I know, like, for example, John, who's no longer on there, would call me if he had something going on, or some of the other boards. So you're free to contact any of them. There's a lot on that committee. It's hard to get a quorum accidentally.
Okay, and how long do people normally, is there a term limit, or how long do people normally stay?
Depends on who you are. We were just talking about one that we think he was there for maybe 15 years or longer.
Oh, wow, okay,
I've been there for working on my 12th year. So
okay.
others have been on there for a year or 2 years. And I don't know, what are you thinking, commissioners? Can you answer that question differently?
I think it's up to the individual board member, and it is contingent upon being an elected official. So if you were to leave your other elected position, then you wouldn't be eligible to serve on the board anymore. But we do a board composition, I think every 4 years, composition review. So,
Yep.
It's really kind of up to the individual board members.
Okay. Sounds good. That's all I've got.
Well, then, Julie, again, we want to thank you so much for stepping up and offering to be on this board. We will have further discussions and a couple more interviews, and we should be making up our mind within the next week to 2 weeks, and then we'll be contacting everybody, let them know what that we come up with. But we want to thank you for stepping up and giving us the opportunity to get to know you, and for you to get to know us.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Have a beautiful day. Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye.
Thanks, Julie.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, so commissioners, on this list, that's all I have for today. Do we want to have any discussions about anything we've seen today?
Or do we want to wait until after we interview the last person?
Yep, we're welcome to do all of it. That's why I'm just asking. Does anybody have anything?
I'm good to wait.
Then if not, I will entertain a motion.
Move we adjourn.
I'll second.
Hearing no objection, we are adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Yes.